They say you never truly know someone until you see how they treat the people closest to them. That thought echoed in my mind as I sat on the edge of the guest bed, replaying the events of the afternoon. My name is Mia. I'm 25. And I've been with Ethan, also 25, for 4 years. We're in that liminal stage of life, no longer kids, not quite settled adults. To save for a house, we've been living with his mom, Karen, for the past 6 months. Karen's a kind woman, generous in letting us stay in her home despite charging a modest rent. She's not without her quirks, but who isn't? Things had been relatively smooth until today. Today, I saw a side of Ethan that I wasn't sure I could unsee. It started with a knock at the door. I was upstairs scrolling through my phone when I heard Karen calling Ethan's name. "Ethan, the Amazon guy's here. I've been calling you," she shouted. Her voice carried the slight exasperation of someone who'd been trying to get someone's attention for a while. Ethan, who had been playing video games with his headphones on, yanked them off with a huff. "What now?" he grumbled, stomping down the stairs. Curious, I followed a few steps behind, stopping halfway to watch the scene unfold. Karen stood by the door, phone in hand, explaining that the delivery required a one-time code. Before she could finish, Ethan exploded. "Why are you always nagging?" he shouted, snatching the phone from her. "Do you see how she talks to me?" he added, slamming the door in the Amazon driver's face before opening it again to hurriedly provide the code. Karen stood frozen, her face a mix of shock and hurt. "Ethan, she didn't say anything wrong," I interjected cautiously. He shot me a look, his voice dripping with frustration. "It's her tone, Mia. You don't get it." Karen, clearly upset, but holding back tears, retreated to the kitchen. The package forgotten, I followed her, murmuring an apology on Ethan's behalf. She waved it off, but her trembling hands as she prepared tea told a different story. Later that evening, I tried to broach the subject with Ethan. "Can we talk about what happened earlier?" I asked gently. He sighed, sinking into the couch. "Look, you don't understand what it's like growing up with her," he began. "She's always been controlling, always undermining me. It's like she doesn't respect me." This wasn't the first time Ethan had spoken about his strained relationship with Karen. According to him, his childhood was riddled with arguments and misunderstandings. He felt she had high expectations that he could never meet. "But she's letting us stay here," I pointed out. "That's not nothing," he shrugged. "She's making up for years of guilt. Don't let her fool you." The next day, I found Karen in the garden tending to her roses. I hesitated but decided to approach her. "Karen, can I ask you something?" She looked up, wiping her hands on her apron. "Of course, dear." "Why do you and Ethan fight so much?" She sighed, her gaze distant. "Ethan's always been sensitive. I admit, I've made mistakes. I was a single mom trying to juggle everything. Maybe I was too hard on him at times, but it came from love. He doesn't see that." Her voice cracked, and I reached out to squeeze her hand. "He's lucky to have you," I said, and I meant it. But her words left me conflicted. Was Ethan's anger justified, or was it a reflection of unresolved issues? Amidst the tension, another issue loomed: our future. Ethan and I had been discussing marriage, but he seemed hesitant to take the next step. "Why rush?" he said one night. "We're still saving for a house." But was it just the finances, or was it something deeper? His behavior with Karen made me question his ability to handle conflicts maturely. Could I see myself navigating a lifetime of challenges with someone who reacted this way? The final straw came a week later. Karen accidentally dropped one of Ethan's collectibles while cleaning. He erupted, yelling about how she had no respect for his things. This time, I couldn't stay silent. "Ethan, stop it!" I shouted, stepping between them. "She made a mistake. You don't need to treat her like this." He looked at me, stunned. "Whose side are you on?" "This isn't about sides," I replied, my voice shaking. "It's about respect. If you can't show your mom basic decency, what does that say about you?" That night, I packed a bag and stayed with a friend. Ethan called, apologized, and promised to change, but his words felt hollow. I needed time to think. Karen's parting words stayed with me. Mia, you deserve someone who lifts you up, not someone who brings you into their storms. In the end, I realized she was right. Love isn't just about chemistry, it's about character. And sometimes, walking away is the strongest act of love. For yourself.